She's a woman of all seasons, a vessel of strength, honor and dignity. She's a woman, yes, a woman, of all seasons.
Hi girls, let's continue with our seasoned conversations. In this episode, we're going to look at the remaining 3 P's to your destiny, namely your principles, your process, and your prize. The last time, I gave you an overview on the 7 P's, and I told you there are 7 P's that every one of us needs to get to our destiny. That's your person, your purpose, your people, your place of assignment, your principles, your process, and your prize. So today we're going to look at your principles, your process, and your prize. And I'll start with your process, yeah? Now, what do I mean by process? I think I said in one of the earlier episodes that to get to destiny, we have to undergo a process of making. Because normally by the time we're called and God reveals his assignment and his purpose for us in life, we're raw. The giftings are there, the talents are there, the skills may be there, the character is there, but still very raw and unmolded. And God needs to take us through a process of making in order to be what he needs us to be, the vessels we need to be able to fulfill that purpose and that destiny. So when we talk of the process, you have to embrace that process. You can't resist the process because you'll keep going back in circles. You'll keep going back again and again until you get the process right, until you're molded and made into what God wants us to be. So when I think of process, I think of seasons, like a cycle of seasons. Because when you're being processed, you'll find yourself in different seasons at different times. There'll be a season of barrenness, a season of dryness when nothing is working for you. And God is using that dryness and that barrenness to process you, to make you, to check your patience. And whenever you come into a season, you need to look at several things. You need to look at what nature of season am I in right now. That's number one. Then you need to look at how should I position myself? Just like in normal physical seasons, like the cold season, the hot season, what garments should I wear? In other words, what attitudes am I going to operate with in this particular season? And then you need to look at, once you've looked at your positioning and you've understood the nature of the season, you need to look at the people, the kind of characters you're going to come across in that season and how you're going to relate to them appropriately. And then you're going to look at the snares and the traps that come in that season. If it is a physical season like the rainy season, there you could fall, you could break your back, you could slip, you could get wet, rained on, get pneumonia. Every season has got snares and traps, and you need to look out for those and escape those traps and snares of every season. And then there is the lessons you have to learn, because each season is supposed to teach you a lesson. So you need to understand, what lessons am I going to learn in this season before you transit into the next season. Now, seasons come in cycles. So at the end of that first one cycle of seasons, they'll come back again and again and again as you're molded and made and sculptured. And it's important to understand that you cannot change seasons. You just embrace seasons and align yourself to the season. Just like a dry season or a wet season or a rainy season, you can't stop the rains. You can't stop the sun. You just have to dress appropriately and operate appropriately. Then the other thing, so when we talk of the seasons, I think of the one I said earlier, a barren, dry season when nothing is working for you. You need to understand how to position yourself. Then there's the season when you're pregnant with purpose. And you need to know how to walk, how to operate, how to carry yourself. And I mentioned this in an earlier episode about how to carry yourself in the different trimesters when you're carrying purpose. You're pregnant with destiny, pregnant with purpose. There'll be a season when you're trained, when you're being equipped, when you're being schooled so that you may know how to fulfill your purpose. And you need to be teachable. You need to be positioned with a spirit of teachability, a spirit of humility. And then there'll be a season when you're serving another man's vision, a season of submission, when you sit under authority, obey authority, you go through all the dynamics of obeying authority, serving an authority, and we'll look at all these in more details later on. But these are some of the seasons you'll go through. There'll be a season of threshing, a season of purging you, pruning you, molding your character, removing the ugly aspects of your character, the weaknesses in you that are not helping your purpose. There'll be a season of that. You'll be on the threshing floor when you can tell you're really being threshed and purged to come out strong and able to continue with destiny. Then there'll be a season when you have to celebrate others. You see your peers getting into their destiny, getting into their promotions, getting into their breakthroughs and victories and harvests, and you haven't yet come into yours. You must learn in that season how to celebrate others, how to promote others without getting jealous and dying of envy and jealousy, because you must position yourself in an attitude of understanding that even my own season will come. So in this season, I will celebrate my sister or my brother. And then there'll be a season of harvest, of course, when the breakthrough comes. It comes with its own dangers. It comes with its own snares and traps. It comes with its own dynamics. And we're going to go through that and understand how to handle each of these seasons and to come out strong, to come out molded and sculptured and stronger than you were before, to have learned certain lessons. Now, during this time of being processed, you inevitably, because to fulfill your purpose, your mind is involved, your mouth, your words are involved, your eyes, your vision, your ears, you have to listen and hear. Your heart, your condition of your emotions is involved. Your womb is involved because that's a carrier of your purpose and your destiny. Your knees are involved because you're going to be in prayer. Your feet are involved because you're going to have to check how you walk. Your feet symbolize your walk, just like your knees symbolize your prayer life. And your hands symbolize your work, your occupation, your vocation. And your eyes is your vision. Your ears is your capacity to listen. And your nose symbolizes your discernment, ability to discern situations. All these anatomies will need to undergo radical surgery. Because as they are, by the time you're starting to fulfill your purpose, they are not molded. They are not operated on. Your eyes they're unhealthy. They need to be operated on, radical surgery, so that you come into a proper vision. You see things the way God wants you to see them, in the right paradigm, the right perspective. You hear what God wants you to hear. He operates your ears so he removes all the filth, all the garbage that you've allowed yourself to listen, so that you remain listening to the voice that you need to listen to. And your mouth will be operated on radically, a radical surgery to sort out your speech, your words, how to speak, what to speak, where to speak, who to speak to. So all these anatomies will undergo a radical surgery. For example, your womb may have been carrying visions and dreams that are not of God. The pregnancy is not God's. These are things you conceived of your own, like Ishmael's. And your womb will need to be radically undergo a radical surgery so that it's cleansed and vacuumed, so that it's ready to conceive what God wants you to conceive. So those are things we'll look at one by one by one. And we're going to look at when you're undergoing through the process, every seasoned woman will have undergone certain storms or will undergo certain storms. And your ability to survive those storms and come out standing will be your ability to fulfill destiny. In any woman's life, there will be the storms of marriage, whether it's a divorce, whether it's abuse in marriage, whatever it is, there will be those storms in a marriage that you need to survive and come out strong and dancing in the rain, smiling in the rain. And no matter what you've gone through, you'll be able to pass through and be able to stand strong. There'll be storms with your children. Children don't always come out the way we thought they'd come out, no matter how well your parenting skills are. And these are storms that every woman who has children will have undergone storms with their children. And the ability to survive will show your stamina and your tenacity and your strength. There will be the storms of loss, where you've lost loved ones through death. You've lost property. All manner of loss. How do you handle the loss? How do you respond to the loss? Those are storms, and your ability to survive is crucial. There'll be sicknesses. Some are terminal sicknesses, whether your own sickness or the sickness of a loved one, and how to deal with those storms of sickness and to stand strong and have faith and believe that you'll come out of it and you'll survive that storm and come out strong without being destroyed. Because the enemy's plan is to destroy you in the storms so that you don't end up fulfilling your destiny. But you must be a survivor of storms. You must be able to weather the storms and come out strong. You'll undergo financial storms where you could be financially collapse. You know, when we go radically out there to do business, to do our endeavors, entrepreneurship, there are chances that sometimes you can collapse financially, literally. And you have to learn how to survive financial storms, how to get up from the ashes, from the storm, to survive and to get up and to rebuild your finances again. That will be important. Even scandals, storms, reputational risks, when you find your reputation, your character, everything about you has been scandalized, your reputation, false accusations, whether they're false or whether you did what you're being accused of. There will be scandals in your lives or times in your lives when your reputation, your whole brand is shaken. And those are storms, reputational storms. And you need to know how to handle that as a woman of destiny. And of course, failure. We all fail. And your ability to survive the storms of failure, no matter how drastic, no matter how deep, will determine whether you have what it takes to enter your destiny. So girls, we're going to look at all this and more in detail. One step at a time, we'll have conversations. I will share my personal testimonies through my journey towards destiny. I'm nowhere near fulfilling my purpose. I'm nowhere near reaching where God wants me to reach, but I'll share what I can. And in the process, we'll learn from one another. Don't go anywhere, girls. We'll be back, and I'll tell you more about this.